Imagine a world that looks almost like ours, until you listen closely. No dogs barking, no cows lowing, no heartbeat that beats warm. Only the hiss of scales, the rustle of feathers, the distant call of creatures evolved without fur or warmth. Rivers wind silently through forests untouched by hooves or paws. Giant lizard-like herbivores graze among towering ferns, their movements graceful, almost mesmerizing. Predators lurk in shadows, intelligent eyes scanning, patient, calculating. So, what happens when evolution skips the creatures that invented milk, mothers and minds? When no one ever dreamed or cared or built a fire in the dark? Could intelligence still find a way? Could reason crawl out of cold blood? Or would this world remain silent, clever enough to survive, but never to wonder? A planet of possibility that nearly forgot to imagine itself.
This is Earth without mammals, a world that might have been, and almost never existed at all.
For most of Earth's history, our kind didn't matter. We were shadows under the feet of giants, small, shivering, and irrelevant. 250 million years ago, before the age of dinosaurs, a peculiar lineage of reptiles began to change. Their bones grew lighter, their jaws more flexible, their hearts beat faster, their bodies warmer. These were the synapsids, the ancestors of every mammal that ever lived. They didn't roar, they didn't rule, they simply waited. Then came extinction, the planet's great reset button. When the asteroid silenced the dinosaurs, these patient survivors stepped into the sunlight for the first time. Within a few million years, they filled every empty niche. Some ran, some swam, some flew. From saber-toothed predators to burrowing shrews, the mammalian experiment went wild. And it came with a set of radical biological tricks. Warm blood that never slept, fur that defied the cold, live births that carried the future within, and perhaps the strangest of all, nurturing. For the first time in evolutionary history, tenderness itself became a survival strategy. Mothers guarded, packs hunted, communities formed. From that warmth, both literal and emotional, intelligence grew. Not in sudden leaps, but in generations of care. Until one day, a curious primate began to ask questions no other creature had asked before. Who are we? What made us? And what happens next?
Yes, we mammals thought we'd finally got the memo. Warm blood, big brains, world domination.
We wrote the story of intelligence and decided it was ours alone. How adorably confident.
Now, imagine if that entire chapter never happened. Synapsids, those warm-blooded pioneers, falter. Their line weakens, their burrows empty, no fur, no milk, no gentle hands to cradle the future. The mammalian experiment simply doesn't take off. Maybe a shift in climate burned their small bodies away. Maybe a new predator crushed their fragile hold. Or maybe, like so many evolutionary stories, they were simply unlucky. Whatever the reason, the world wakes up from the age of dinosaurs, but finds no mammals waiting to inherit it. No tiny creatures darting through ferns, no warm hearts pulsing beneath the cold night sky. Just reptiles, birds, amphibians, and silence, where our ancestors should have been. Ecosystems adjust, slowly, methodically. The niches that once belonged to rodents and primates remain open. But life, as always, abhors a vacuum. Without mammals to fill them, evolution begins to improvise. Herbivorous reptiles spread across the continents, their bodies reshaped by competition and climate. Some grow agile and warm-blooded in spirit, if not in biology. Reptilian analogues of foxes, deer, or horses. Predators evolve alongside them. Sleek, scaled hunters with intelligence honed not by empathy, but by precision. The forests are quieter, but not empty. The grasslands shimmer under reptilian eyes. Birds still rule the skies, descendants of dinosaurs thriving above. But without mammals below, their world feels strangely hollow. There are no bats to echo through the night, no whales singing through the deep. The oceans hum with reptilian rhythm, cold, efficient, alien. And so, the story of life goes on, without fur, without milk, without warmth. The evolutionary dice have been rolled again. The stage is reset. But this time, the play unfolds without its soft-bodied philosophers.
We're not doing science fiction here. We're doing counterfactual biology. Same rules, same physics, same planet. Only no mammals to dream under the stars.
And that single omission changes everything. Every heartbeat, every childhood, every moment of curiosity that led to thought, erased. The Earth keeps spinning, but intelligence now has to find another way. Somewhere in this mammal-free world, evolution still has one unanswered question. Does life need us to think? Or was intelligence always destined to rise, even in scales, claws, and cold blood? Intelligence. Let the word hang. We like to think of it as a mammalian signature, the proud invention of warm-blooded brains. But evolution never signed an exclusivity contract. The truth is, nature has tried intelligence before, more than once. It's not a straight line from caveman to astronaut. It's a recurring experiment, and the lab never closes. Let's rewind the story and look at how many times life has flirted with cleverness. Take the birds, descendants of dinosaurs, running on neural hardware completely unlike ours. Their brains are small, yes, but astonishingly dense. Neurons packed twice as tightly as in primates. A crow's brain, no bigger than a walnut, can solve puzzles, use tools, even plan for tomorrow. They don't just mimic, they reason. Then there are the cephalopods, octopuses, cuttlefish, squid. No bones, no social groups, no warm blood. Yet inside that soft body lives a distributed mind, a neural network spread across 8 intelligent arms. Each arm can taste, feel, and even make decisions independently. Their intelligence isn't centralized like ours. It's modular, alien, elegant. Across the ocean, evolution has already built thinking beings. They just don't think the way we do. Even reptiles, our supposed cold cousins, show sparks of cognition. Monitor lizards plan ambushes. Crocodiles use sticks as bait. Intelligence, it seems, doesn't require warmth, only opportunity. So what is intelligence, really? Not just a big brain, but a pattern. The ability to model the world, remember it, and change behavior because of it, whether it's neurons or ganglia, feathers or tentacles. What matters is how information flows, not how it's packaged. Every lineage that faces complex environments, social interactions, and tool-like challenges finds itself nudged toward that pattern. Intelligence isn't a gift. It's a side effect of survival, cooperation, and curiosity.
Turns out mammals didn't have the patent on smarts. We just shouted the loudest about it. And evolution, it loves reruns.
Which means, if mammals never showed up, the race for intelligence wouldn't stop. Somewhere between the coral reefs and the forests, another lineage would keep the flame alive. Maybe a reptile with binocular vision and nimble claws. Maybe a bird whose song evolves into syntax. Maybe an ocean dweller whose mind spans the tides. The question isn't if intelligence would rise again, it's what shape it would take. Evolution doesn't like empty thrones. Remove mammals from the board, and the game continues. Different players, same rules. So, who steps forward to wear the crown of intelligence? Let's take a look at the likely candidates. 1. The avians, sky thinkers. The first contenders are already halfway there. The birds, light, fast, and armed with problem-solving brains that rival primates. In a mammal-free world, corvids, crows, ravens, magpies, would seize the spotlight. Over millions of years, they'd grow larger, stronger, perhaps more dexterous, trading feathers for finer control, beaks for specialized precision. Imagine a civilization of winged engineers, cities built into canyon walls, nests woven from minerals and vines, airships made of chitin and silk gliding through thermals. Their tools might not be hammers and spears, but clever constructs of bone, feather, and wind. Language? Already underway. Corvids can associate symbols with meaning today. Give them a few million more years, and they'd compose poetry in frequencies only birds could hear.
They probably think we're the noisy ancestors who never learned to shut up. Honestly, I get it.
We endure. The flame burns on.
2. The reptiles, the scaled philosophers. Next, the reptiles. Patient, efficient, ancient. Cold-blooded doesn't mean cold-minded. In the absence of mammals, the most adaptable reptiles, perhaps descendants of monitor lizards or small, warm-tolerant dinosaurs, could climb the cognitive ladder. With no mammals to outcompete them, they'd evolve better metabolism, more agile limbs, complex social hierarchies, and, eventually, planning and tool use. Picture a reptilian intelligence, cities carved into desert rock, stone tools shaped by claw and jaw. Their culture, slow and deliberate, spanning centuries. They wouldn't rush invention, they'd perfect it. Cold-blooded minds, running on geologic time. Where mammals build empires in a blink, these creatures might build civilizations that last an ice age.
The forge light burns eternal.
We tried interviewing one. He blinked once every 4 minutes, which, in their language, apparently means your species was impulsive.
The cephalopods, the architects of the deep. But perhaps the true heirs to intelligence never left the ocean. The cephalopods, masters of camouflage, problem-solving, and design, already possess the foundation for a complex mind. In a world without mammalian competition, they'd be free to dominate coastal ecosystems and expand into shallow seas. Over deep time, their bodies might adapt for longer lifespans and cooperative breeding. solving the biggest constraint that limits octopus intelligence today: loneliness. Imagine underwater architects, coral cities wired with bioluminescent communication networks. Technology made of living tissue, grown rather than built. Their civilization would be beautiful, alien, and entirely fluid. Literally. They might not conquer land, but they'd own the sea. Philosophers of pressure and light.
You know, they don't build with metal, they grow their tools, which honestly makes our Industrial Revolution look a bit primitive.
The insects, the collective minds, and then there are the quiet opportunists. The insects, they already outnumber, outlast, and outperform nearly every other form of life. Intelligence for them wouldn't come from a single brain, but from millions acting as one. Colonies that plan, adapt, and remember. Not individuals, but societies that think. Imagine vast termite megastructures, living computers pulsing with chemical data, processing information like neurons in a collective brain. No individuality, no ego, just the hive, aware of itself. Perhaps in the end, that's what evolution calls the next step. Not smarter individuals, but smarter systems.
We rise as one.
If these things ever invented philosophy, their first question would be, what's it like to be one of us?
And their second, probably, why would anyone want to be alone?
So, intelligence doesn't belong to mammals. It belongs to possibility. Whether in feather, scale, or tentacle, evolution keeps rewriting the same story. Consciousness is not a species. It's a pattern, waiting for the right body to wear it. And without us, that pattern would find a way, again. Imagine standing on a planet that feels like Earth, but something's off. No fur, no paw prints, no echo of howls at night. The wind smells heavier, musk and minerals instead of mammals. The rhythm of life beats slower, colder. Without mammals, the world never learned warmth in the same way. The age of empathy, of suckling young and family bonds, never dawned. Instead, instinct rules. Scale and shell reign supreme.
When you walk this earth, you'll realize everything you assumed was normal was just mammalian arrogance.
These belong to a grazer, a reptilian herbivore the size of an elephant, but with a brain smaller than your fist. Still, it's been here longer than any mammal ever was.
Grasslands never formed the way we know them. Mammals invented grasslands, trampling, grazing, fertilizing. The ecosystem built on fur and hooves. Without them, forests stretch farther. Swamps linger longer. Reptiles bask in shallow deltas instead of chasing prey across open plains. And the night? Silent. Because no bats sing, no wolves call. Only the low croak of 1,000 lizard lungs greeting the moon.
Don't look for squirrels, there aren't any. Those chirps up there belong to avian primates, the bird equivalents of monkeys.
Faster and probably louder. See?
Already developing a sense of humor.
Wonderful!
Without mammals, the soil breathes differently. No burrowing rodents aerate the ground. No grazing herds sculpt the plains. Ecosystems grow denser, older, more stagnant. A planet evolving in slow motion. Predators stalk from the shadows. Scaled giants with slit-pupiled eyes that have never blinked at compassion. Theirs is a world without warmth. Not cruel, just efficient.
Maybe intelligence doesn't need warmth. Maybe empathy was just one evolutionary path among many. And somewhere down there,
Beneath those scales and cold stares, a different kind of civilization hums, magical, emotionless, enduring.
This world breathes, hunts, and dreams, without ever having known a mammal. It is not better or worse. It is simply another possibility, a mirror held up to the fragile accident that made us. And if you listen closely, through the wind and the hiss of scales, you might almost hear the world whisper, "It never needed you to begin with." Let's step back into the world that actually happened. The mammals did show up. They thrived, they stumbled, they survived. And in that survival, they carried a seed that would one day grow into us. Warm-bloodedness. A fire in our veins that never sleeps. Fur and fat to shield against the cold. Live birth, parental care. The strange and fragile bond between mother and young. These weren't trivial inventions. They were the foundations of complex societies, of learning, of curiosity. Mammals built ecosystems in ways no reptile or bird could. They dug burrows that shaped soil, dispersed seeds, controlled populations. They invented niches, and in doing so, created the environment that would later nurture primates. And within primates, those slow, caring social animals, evolution nudged intelligence forward. Memory, planning, tool use, communication. The first hints of the reasoning mind we now take for granted. Without mammals, without that lineage of warmth, nurture, and persistent learning, Homo sapiens might never have existed. The very spark of rational intelligence could have skipped our planet entirely.
It's easy to forget how lucky we mammals were. The universe isn't fair. Evolution is indifferent.
We happened to stumble on the right traits at the right time. And that accident, that fragile, improbable accident, made us who we are.
Think about it. Every story we tell, every question we ask, every tool we craft, every idea we imagine, all of it rests on millions of years of warm-blooded experimentation. Without mammals, the universe might still be thinking, but it would not be us thinking. Intelligence, empathy, creativity, gifts we assumed were natural, are in truth the result of an unlikely evolutionary roll of the dice. And the more you understand that, the more remarkable our story becomes. Not because we were inevitable, but because we were possible. And for one small lineage of furred creatures, that was enough.
Life finds a way.
We have traced the story of life without mammals. We have imagined clever birds, patient reptiles, and ingenious cephalopods. But now, the question hangs in the air, as heavy as the silence of a world without our footsteps. Would we exist? Homo sapiens, civilization, language, fire, article, all of it? Gone? Or would intelligence have simply taken another form? Perhaps a bird with hands that evolved from wings, building towers and cities from vine and stone. Perhaps a lizard that learned to bend tools, to shape the environment with logic and patience spanning centuries. Perhaps a collective of insects, orchestrating society as a single, sprawling mind. Could they discover fire? Could they write poetry? Could they look at the stars and ask why? And if they could, what would we mean? Are humans the pinnacle, or merely the most familiar manifestation of intelligence that happened to walk on two legs, furred and warm? Evolution is indifferent. It does not favor empathy or curiosity. only the traits that survive long enough to pass on. Our rational minds, our cities, our art, all of it is an accident, balanced on the narrow edge of probability. Remove mammals, and the dice roll again. The next intelligent lineage might solve problems we cannot imagine. But it would not be us.
And yes, I'm still wearing the fur coat, because apparently I forgot mammals didn't evolve here.
A reminder. Intelligence is not sacred. It's contingent. Fragile. And occasionally, hilarious in its timing.
Our existence is a single thread in a tapestry woven from accidents and necessity. A world without mammals might still have thinkers, builders, and storytellers. But not us. Civilization, morality, creativity, all of it is a result of lineage, nurture, and luck. And yet, that does not diminish its wonder. For in imagining this alternate world, we see intelligence stripped of familiarity, raw, unpredictable, and beautiful in forms we cannot fully comprehend. In the end, mammals mattered. Not because we were destined to dominate, but because life found a way to make us the observers of our own improbable story. Intelligence is a thread, fragile and rare, woven through the loom of life. It is not inevitable. It is not guaranteed. Mammals had one shot, a lineage of warmth, care, and persistence. And they passed it on. We, Homo sapiens, are the inheritors of that chance. Not because we were destined, not because we were superior, but because evolution rolled the dice in our favor. The rest of life, birds, reptiles, cephalopods, insects, might have done it too. Some might have built civilizations, wielded tools, or solved problems beyond our comprehension. Some might have never reached for fire, language, or reflection. In a world without mammals, intelligence might have remained an unrealized possibility. Or it might have taken forms so alien we could scarcely recognize it. And yet, we exist.
In the end, the question isn't just, would intelligence evolve without mammals? It's, would we exist at all? 초싱이
Life is experimental, audacious, and indifferent. It can nurture brilliance or let it slip away. Our story is one of luck, contingency, and fragile opportunity. The window of intelligence is narrow, yet here we stand, able to ask the questions, to imagine the alternatives, to marvel at what might have been. And as the sun sets on a world that never knew mammals, we see that the miracle wasn't just intelligence itself. It was that we inherited it. A small lineage of warm-blooded creatures, beating against extinction, created the possibility for curiosity, reflection, and wonder. In that inheritance lies the true legacy, not just thought, but the opportunity to recognize life's improbable brilliance.